How's it going, folks? So the band PowerCross are back with a new single here called Freedom, and they have a new album coming out October 28th, if I'm not mistaken, a follow-up to what I believe was their debut album that they dropped last year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, seeing what they've been working on since that first album, and get a glimpse of what to expect on the new one, less than a month away. So not a long wait. Anywho, let's check this out. Rangers, go. Not bad. I definitely get like some Blind Guardian vibes in here. I think the biggest thing with this song is it's relatively straightforward. It doesn't really have any surprises or have anything that is particularly memorable or stands out from the crowd or anything like that. It's just a very kind of safe, sort of straightforward kind of song. And I think that's like its biggest thing. My other like big critique, aside from it just being kind of straightforward, I'll kind of break down the song a little bit shortly, but the it, as far as like the song itself, the one thing that I would pick out is that transition between the pre-chorus and the chorus. Very kind of abrupt. It's not smooth. Like it just doesn't really match, because I was digging that pre-chorus. I almost thought that that was the chorus. You know, I think that pre-chorus sort of has chorus quality to it. But then after that pre-chorus, it kind of, there's like almost like just a break. And then the chorus itself starts. There's not a smooth transition from that pre-chorus into the chorus. It's almost like they're just two separate things stuck together without that bridge in between that connects the two smoothly. So as far as like the song itself goes, that was my biggest like critique. That really those edges in that transition need to be smoothed out, instead of having the pre-chorus. Okay, pre-chorus is done, new chorus starts. It just feels awkward. The momentum is kind of lost. There's that shift, and like a shift or something is perfectly fine, but there's got to be some kind of connection there. There's got to be something that bridges that gap within that sort of shift or whatnot, so that the listener doesn't just feel like there's a jolt and then things are different. You know, there's got to be that you got to be able to follow that all the way through. And so that really kind of was rough there, that transition. But song starts out, you know, it's a solid main riff. Again, the song itself is just relatively straightforward, so there's not like a whole lot to really kind of break down. I mean, you got the lead riff and stuff. One thing I like, the drummer, like he's really into it, and I dig that sort of thing. So, you know, he's really into it behind the kit, and then the vocals chime in. I think the dude's got like a solid voice too. You know, he's got a pretty good range. Yeah, I thought some spots maybe could have gone a little bit higher or something, but you know, for this context of this song, I thought he did a good job. But it was weird. I didn't really hear it after that, but those first verses, it almost sounded though as like the vocals were going through like a vocoder or something like that, or whatever that is. Like there was like there was a filter or something on the vocals, and I was like, you know, I kind of just wish I was hearing like his voice clean, like without that like filter or whatever that was. But after that, I didn't really notice that anymore. So maybe that was just like something just for the beginning of those verses. But yeah, you know, the verses are decent. They're neither here nor there. And then you get that pre-chorus. I thought that pre-chorus was pretty cool. Again, at first I thought maybe this was the chorus. Then you get that break that I talked about, and you get that chorus. And the chorus is decent too, while again relatively straightforward. And I will say, at the end, like the chorus just once, I think is fine. It's got a decent melody, you know, there's some power behind it. But I feel like the flaws of it or whatever showed themselves a little bit more at the end when it was repeated. You know, you have the first of the final choruses, then you have the final chorus. Hearing it back to back, it felt like it wore out its welcome a little bit. Just maybe the nature of just how that the melody is and how it's designed. It's fine once on its own, and then you kind of move on into something else. But hearing it back to back, that second time, it just felt kind of redundant. The repetitiveness of it, I think, was more evident there. But you know, still, it's a decent melody. It's not bad. You get like the bridge and the solo is solid, and then you get the final rest. So it's just one of those songs where it's like it's not bad, but it's just very middle of the road, very straightforward, and yeah, I mean that's just like the main thing with it. So just one of those songs I feel like you kind of listen to, it's like you don't think like, man, this song's terrible, because it's not. It's not a terrible song by any stretch of the imagination. But you hear it, it kind of passes you by, and you're like, okay, and you move on. That's the biggest thing. I think it just doesn't have that real grabbing your attention kind of feel to it, or anything that really jumps out at you or stands out in any way, shape, or form. It's very middle of the road. So yeah, I'll pretty much leave it at that. That's my thoughts on it. I'm curious to see what they got coming on their new album, though, and hear the other songs and just what they're bringing. So I'm definitely going to be listening to it. But let me know, folks, in the comments down below. What do you think of this song here? Did you listen to their album last year? Are you looking forward to the new album coming out? Let's talk about it, and I'll catch you next time. Ranger, out.